your name and give praise and honor and thanksgiving, for you are totally worthy to give praise, to give honor and thanksgiving. Hallelujah, hallelujah. We praise you, Father. We worship and honor you. If you are tuning in to Eagles Haven Ministry, this is Eliyahu tuning in from Texas. I just want to greet you with Shabbat Shalom and greet everybody today with a beautiful shalom that we are going to come together today and study a great topic. So if you're tuning in, welcome to Eagles Haven Ministry, and we love you and praise Yahuwah for the opportunity to greet you and be with you today. The topic of the study we're going to have today is the word bless, blessing, blessings, and blessed. And where does it come from? And just in the world, where did it come from? This word has nothing to do with Hebrew and Greek. So we're going to experiment, and we're going to try to, I try to put the words online, so I have to edit it and put it on. I try to put it on live stream this morning, but anyways, Shabbat Shalom to all the Mishpocha and all the House of Yisrael, all the Goy and the Goyim coming into the House of Yisrael, and everybody that's a Gur, that's Gorim, that's coming in and pressing forward. We greet you with Shabbat Shalom today. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. And we just thank him for his tobness and his love and everything about him, what he's done for us all week. And I'm excited to share this with you today. But we just worship him and praise him, and we thank for the answers of prayer, the 9th of Av, that there was shalom in Jerusalem, even though it was temporarily, what's going on over there with Hamas trying to raise its head as a political party, and they're nothing but a terrorist group. Just keep Yisrael in prayer. They need a lot of prayer. But we want to Baruch, Brachot, Yisrael. We want to speak shalom to Jerusalem. We're not going to use the word peace no more, the peace pack, and we're not going to use the word the bless, because we're going to find out what this pagan word means and how cruel it is. And it's such a common word and people don't know. And I'm going to read a passage of scripture to you, Hosea in English, chapter 4, verse 6. And he says, "My people have perished for a lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being Kohan for me. Since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim, I also forget your children." Now, the word knowledge is da'ath. It's a discernment. It's awareness. It is da'ath. It's where you get, even in the renewed covenant, the word of knowledge, it would be da'ath. So it's awareness, a discerning awareness, to be aware. And we just praise Yahuwah for this opportunity to share with us, because the House of Yisrael, the people of Yahuwah, are not people with a lack of knowledge. We're researchers, and we love to research and find the truth. And it's just that we have to cleanse our mind. I call it a Ruach HaKadosh brain wipe, that the words of our tongue will be switched and changed to a new language, a Hebraic understanding language with pure tongue. Not all the words in Hebrew, modern Hebrew, are clean, but we're going to focus on this one. This is a very dirty word. And I'm going to start off by, as we come to an understanding that we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Well, many people that are in the Messianic or in the Christian communities are using this word bless, blessing, blessed, and blessings so frequently, and they have no idea what they're doing. So the first thing we're going to do is, so it says here, among the Germanic tribes such as the Anglo-Saxons, or Anglo-land and Saxland, because Britain, Great Britain, the United Kingdom was called Bretland. And the word England is actually the land of the deity of Ing, which is created to the God. Okay, so among the Germanic tribes such as Anglo-Saxons and the Norsemen, blood was used during their sacrifices. Blots. That's where you get the word bless. The blood was concentrated to have the power of its originator. And after the butchering of little children, or the blood was sprinkled on the walls, on the statues of the deities. They called the deity good, G-O-D. And on the participants themselves. This act of sprinkling the blood was called blood sion, Old English, blessing. Blood sion, blessing. And the terminology was borrowed by the Roman Catholic Church. Now, listen, this all, we've inherited lies, not only from the forefathers of rabbinical Judaism with the Talmud, oral, but and they use this word commonly, so I hope some people break down and watch this, Hebraic, rabbinical, because it's wrong for the teachers to teach the people to use that word, even in English, instead of using the correct words. We're going to find out. They're so beautiful, correct words. But it says here that the blood, the Roman Catholic Church, because we are offshoots from Catholicism, offshoots from the Protestantism, Reformationism, Protestantism. We're all offshoot daughters, and we cut off and broke the curse of the harlot daughters off our lives, off our Haim, our high. And so we want to stay focused on understanding that we got the roots of Yisrael. We're in the stump of Ibri, of Abraham, Ishak, and Jacob. So, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. The Roman Catholic Church becoming to bless or blessing, blutz or blodosen. Okay. The Hittite word for blood was eshar, like estar, just one letter off. It was a gagonade to the words of an oath, the bond. Eshar. Ancient Greeks believed that blood of the deities, the theoses, or they have the word right here, goods, the German deity. Echar was a substance that was poisonous to mortals. Segin, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing back. This is the German word, S-E-G-E-N, Segen, I think it's Segen, but in German it would have a different phonetic sound, is a German word translated to blessing or benediction. You hear that? Charm, prayer, spell, incantation. So it is the origin of origin alone from Latin segunum, seganar, also to make a sign. In other words, the word blessing and bless is the sign of the cross to Catholics when they got it from the Germanic tribes or the ancient Greek understanding of the blood ritual. Okay, so it was the sign of the cruz. And I just want to let you know the word cross did not exist to the year 1200, and crucifix was about the word the year 1300, but it was styros in the Greek. When you look at the word cross, it's really styros, a post, a tree of wood, and standing straight upright. So to confer to a Christian blessings, the sign of the cross, Christian blessing. So even if you're not a follower of Yahuwah, you're not going into the Hebrew understanding of Yisrael, and you're a Christian, what in the world are you doing using a Catholic word of a blood ritual, the sign of the cross? Do you go around doing that? That's what it means they bless themselves. Okay, the term is attested to Old High German seganon from as early as 800, resulting in a modern siganin, to bless, to blut. The noun sigin, blessing, was derived from the verb at an early time, attest in the 9th century as sigon. Old English, the corresponding sigon, which survives as a dialectal Scottish saying, S-A-I-N, popularized by Scots Heart of Midlothian, L-O-T-H-I-N. This is a Scottish word. It means the good of son us, the good of son us. The G-O-D, blood is on them. The concept of sigon understood magically. Magically. We're not talking about the blood of atonement on the styros, on the stake. They're talking about this blood ritual from ancient paganism, which is a type of incantation to put a ritual word, to do a magical go through the motions to create magic. Okay. So let's see. Understood magically was very productive in the folklore or folk religions, superstitions of German-speaking Europe. Because you got to remember, the United Kingdom, they're German people. They come from a German language, ancient language. We speak. I'm still finding more words in our English language that's German, it's letter for letter. Studied in great detail by the Germanic philologist, folklorist of the 19th century. The medieval Circe or church used the Segen, the sign of the crux, with a spoken formula, liberally. It was like all day long, intended as an act with protective effect, putting the person or thing, they say blessed, under the protection of their deity. Nor was the action reserved for priests and clerics, it's for everybody. But any Christian was permitted to make a sign of the cruz and invoked a protection of the Dios or the word good, the German word. Thus, the Segen came to be seen as the inverse of the curse, inverse of the curse of Luch, the magical acts with the power to either protect or harm. The concept of Segen thus began the continuance of the incantation formulas of the pre-Christian period or Catholic period, the only surviving samples of which are the Meserberg incantations. Use of such formulas was partly encouraged by the Roman Apostolic Catholic Church that inherited from paganism, as they did superficially involve in expression of pity by the invocation of deities, Christos or the Virgin Mary, but as at the same time their magical use was viewed with skepticism and was sometimes repressed. But this became a normal act in Roman Catholicism, and the word started adopting in the late 900, 1000, 1100, and they would even do the sign of the cruz as the bless or blood or blodosian while they were torturing and killing believers, Reformationists and Protestants. Well, the curse be on you, and they would do the sign on them that they don't have to have the sin of torturing and killing during the time of the executions of believers of the Spanish Inquisition, and even the Spanish family, my Spanish family, escaped from that. And they said in the history when they jumped on the boat, any Jew or any believers jumped on a boat, they had to do the sign of the cruz in the right way, not using the wrong hand, the right start. It had to be done right, from north to south, to east to west, something like that, and or left to right. It had to be done correctly, or they would know that they're not from the Catholicism. So, and then they could pay their ticket and get on the boat. So that's how they used to find out. They could say the Rosary, the Hail Mary, or the Our Father, according to their Catholic edition, and do the sign of the cross. Then they could get their ticket, get on the boat, or they would realize that they are Protestants trying to escape. So here's one document, and there's others in the Nazarene site. They have a great teaching. It actually matches this blood ritual. Actually matches the rituals of the preparation of the 40 days of Lent, and it was the beginning of Lent, not the end. But they would get the blood of the children they killed, and they used the blood to put on the eggs. But also they would get the blood and put it on, they burned the body and put it on the ashes. In other words, they killed the child, drained the blood, take the blood, put some of the blood on eggs for Estara, the Queen of Heaven worship, and then they would take the blood also and they mix it with the ashes, and they put the sign of the cruz on their forehead, which we get Ash Wednesday and stuff like that. So there's some websites that explain the details when you go into the Queen of Heaven and the different rituals, procedures. So here we are as followers of Yah, still using Catholic words, Latin Catholic words and German words, of a blood ritual that was inherited by our forefathers through our forefathers in Catholicism. And even the Hebrews, the Messianics, they're real messy on this, and they continue to use this pagan words of bless, blessing, blessings, and blessed. And we're going to look at the Greek. There's not, it's like when you do a study on another word, some words in like the word peace, out of the 6 words in the word peace in Greek, one is the pagan goddess Irene or Irene in modern English. Out of the one pagan word, we find the pagan goddess peace, Irene. So, but in the search for this word, the 3 words in Greek and the words in Hebrew, in 3 words in Hebrew and 4 in Greek, they're totally clean. There's no reason whatsoever but we inherited from the Catholicism. And it is a blood ritual, and it brings a curse on people that do it. They actually, when they used to torture in the Spanish Inquisition, they used to torture people. They do that to themselves, the priest, and kiss the rosary, or they try to get you to kiss the rosary, and they say mercifully, another pagan deity, and then kill you instantly instead of torture you, unless if you don't recant to stick with the true names and the Reformationists and the Protestantism. So, well, we're going to start off remembering that we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Remembering that from the jump street, we're going to look in the first and start off in Hebrew. We're going to start off in Hebrew, and we're going to look at we're going to go to Genesis, Bereshit, and we're going to stay in Genesis for the Hebrew, because there's so much in the first few chapters all mingled together, and some verses got three different Hebrew words in one verse. So, but we're going to start off with the word blessed, B-L-E-S-S-E-D, which is the Hebrew word number 1288 in Strong's Hebrew Greek Concordance, Baruch. Baruch, simple. People try to think and match that with this administrational president, but it's not. Okay, there's nothing Baruch about him. So we're going to look at 1288 Baruch, and we're going to go to Bereshit chapter 9, verse 1. And it's written, he says, and Elohim Baruch Noah and his sons, and said to them, be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. This is Hebrew number 1288. Even in the ISR translation, they put the word the blessed, which, come on, brothers, retranslate that, please. And so in many translations, they do that. And Elohim or Elohim Baruch or Barak Noah and his sons, and said to them, be fruitful, increase, and fill the earth. Okay. Now look at 12:3. Just turn the page. I'm reading actually ISR. 12:3, and we're going to see some mixture here in chapter 12. And we're going to start off in, let's just start off with verse 1, 2, and 3. We'll go through them because there's 3 of them here. But the next one, and we're going to see Baruch, and we're going to see the word blessed too. So the first word is blessed, or blessed. Blessed is Barak, B-A-R-A-K, or the phonetic sound Barak. Okay. And then now we're going to go, which is 217 times they put this pagan word, this pagan blood ritual word. Now, I met people that would go out of the way and say, oh, well, the Catholics had it right because, it's the atoning blood, and through his blood we are Baruch or Barak. And I said, no, that's completely wrong. The atoning blood brings atonement that brings us prosperity and favor of salvation. You cannot just turn around and just go ahead and use the blood pagan rituals. To take a pagan word and try to use it for a tobe is like taking a worldly song and trying to use it for really beautiful worship. It can't do it. You can use worldly songs and change the words a little bit, in order for bait music, but never for worship to the Yahuwah, to go into the Kodesh place. So they try to make that excuse that it's actually the blood atonement, it's a blood ritual, and through it we're prosperous and favored and they're blessed. No, get that out of your brain, because people destroy for lack of knowledge, and so many people don't use scriptural reference. They just spew it out of the mouth and say things not realizing what they're saying. Like even today, most people, you walk into a Christian community and say, what does the BC mean? Oh, before Christ. I said, what? They don't even understand. It's before Common Era. But over 50, 60 years, and even in the Christian Sunday school classes, they're changing words and don't even know why. And they're using words that have been imagined, and in another 100 years, people are going to really think that, But so we don't use those words anyways. We don't use annual dominio. We use CE, this Common Era, because annual dominio is from the Latin Catholic terminology. So as we read chapter 12 with me, and we're going to start in verse 1. And Yahuwah said to Abram, go yourself out of your land and your relatives and from your father's house to a land which I show you, and I will make you a great nation. By the way, the word nation here is goyim, or goy. It's the same word they use for foreigner in the renewed covenant. So if Abraham was a goy, a goyim, a sojourner, we are sojourners too, coming in, and we can't be separated, but they put this pagan word Gentile on it, and that's another topic. A great nation, and it says here, bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Oh man, come on, ISR. And it says here, but bless is actually in the word here in chapter 12, verse 2, is Baruch, 1288. And then the word blessing is actually 1298 of the Hebrew, and it is Barakah, which means prosperity. And the blessing is more, the word BLESS, when they pancake that word over Barak, it's supposed to be for a salute, to kneel down, to adoration. So he's saying that Abraham will become a great nation, and people are going to salute him, even kneel and bow to him. Okay, and you and your name, you and make your Shem, your name great, the character of Abraham's name, and you shall be a blessing. In other words, a barakah, prosperity. Now look at verse 3. So we covered here, just in one verse or two verses, we covered blessed, bless, and it says here in verse 3, and I shall, it says again, bless, barak, those who barak you, and curse them who curses you, and in you all the clans or tribes of the earth shall be barak. 1288. So you got 1288 and 1293 all mingled in these two verses for blessing, blessed, and bless. So we covered three words in these two particular verses of chapter 12. And we're going to look at, well, by the way, blessings, Tanakh, they paganized Barakah 13 times, and blessing 54 times they paganized it. Okay, and the same as bless is 117 times, and blessed is 217 times. So a total of these Hebrew clean words, 401 times they plastered over and sugar-coated, sweetener, pancaked over, but plastered over a clean slate of word, a clean, beautiful words in Hebrew. Okay, so it is the word barak, it is also barakah, and also other expressions here, as I got in my other footnotes, is we have Berekah, Barakah, Barak, Baruch. And so there's different expressions in Hebrew now from those particular Hebrew words that is found in your manuscripts. And I just wanted to share that with you. 1293, 1288. And you can go ahead and research it yourself and get very Baruch by it. And what I've done is, even in my ISR, I actually corrected the words. Most of the places where I used to minister, I go ahead and correct it myself, so I know to say it correctly. I don't want to say those words out of my mouth. I don't want to utter it out of my mouth whatsoever. In the Shem of Yahushua, I cleanse it. So I'm only saying these words today to you. This is not a deity. This is not a mighty one, but people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because they're saying a blood incantation. They're doing incantations. They're doing mystical magic spells with physical motions and all that, and waving their hands and all that stuff. And so, and part of it is the sign of the cruz. That's an incantation. They're doing a ritual, a magical ritual. So we gotta forbid to do those things the same way that we don't say the pagan names of the pagan deities. Okay, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We got to correct ourselves completely, people of Yahuwah. Now we're going to go to, now this was very quick because it's all in one area. You can find it in Genesis 9:1 and Genesis 12:1 and 2 and 3. I mean, very, very quick in Bereshit. Now you can explore it all as you do your own studies in the future. You can explore it all as you move on. But what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and read a verse in Shemot, chapter 23, verse 13. You know this verse, I'm sure. All that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones. Let it not be heard from your mouth. So keep that in mind. Also with Hosea, chapter 4, 6. And then now we're going to look at the Greek. I want to show you in the Greek. This is going to take a little time because they played with the words, and there was nothing there. There was nothing there that should have been changed in Greek. Even the English translation didn't even need a transliteration of paganizing it. So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 5, verse 43. And it is written, you heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, and they use the word bless those cursing you, do good to those hating you, pray for those insulting you and persecuting you. This word is u log ia, lug u log ia, in the Greek, 2127. It is actually a clean word. There's no reason to put the word, the pagan blood ritual bless, on there. It means to speak well over them. There's other little term and words too, but this is the particular for this particular passage of scripture. He says, but I say to you, love your enemies, speak well over them, those cursing you, and do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you. So here's number one. All right. Greek number 2127. Clean word right from the root. Why mess with it? There was no reason to change this word. All right, let's go to the second word in Greek. It's Greek number 2129. It is slightly different. We're going to be looking at 27, 28, 29 of Greek 2129. And we're going to look at Lucas 24:53. And we're continually in the Kodeshim, or Kodesh, or set apart place, praising. They say the word blessing in ISR, but it is yo log I a. It's slightly different. Yo log I a in Greek. Forgive me, Greek scholars, but I'm doing the phonetic lines here. Speaking fine of, commendations for, used also in adoration. All right, so this word, they pancake this pagan word blessing on, is used for adoration towards Elohim, because he is He said they're in the Kodesh place praising and Yologia Elohim. Amen. So it's in the form of speaking fine of, commendation of, adoration. They're speaking well of Elohim, and adoration was going on. They're praising and baruching his name. Okay, and this is Greek number 2129 in Luke 24:53. The third word is blessings with an S. Now, let me back up. The word bless, B-L-E-S-S, was contaminated, plastered over 10 times the clean Greek word 2127. Blessing was 13 times over 2129. Now we're going to look at blessings with an S, and it's only one time used, only once in the renewed covenant, and it's the same Greek word 2129. So it's the same word 2129. They just threw an S in it and changed the word a little bit, and we're going to play with it a little bit. We're going to look at Ephesians chapter 1 verse 3. And this has got a mixture like we saw in Bereshit chapter 12, 2 and 3 verses. But this has got mixture too. And we're going to start in verse 2 of chapter 1 of Ephesians. Favor to you and shalom from Elohim, or Avinu, our Father, and the Yahushua Moshiach. Baruch. It says blessed with the ED, which is the word 2128. That's right. It's ulagatos, Greek number 2128, where they put the word blessed. And so it's supposed to be Berachot, Baruch, be Elohim, the Father of our Yahushua Moshiach, who as blessed, they say blessed, E-D, B-L-E-S-S-E-D, but it is a different Greek word now. It's 2127. It's Yolag-E-O. Okay? So just in the one verse, we're going to see actually three. This is 2127. The first part of verse 3 is 2128. Now let's keep reading. Who has baruched us with every spiritual, and they say the word blessings with an S, okay, in the Shamayim in Moshiach. This is Greek number 2129, which is Yo lag e ah with an A sound, with an A sound in the end. So here's all three Greek words different in one compact place, and they all have a consecutive different meanings of this word. Now, here's an example of this contamination of paganistically putting this blood ritual word on top. Now we're going to look at the word Makarios. That's Greek number 3107. Now, this particular Greek word is 3107. Blessed is also, now if you notice, I said the word blessed in verse 3 had 2128 and 2127. But they also put the word blessed with another Greek word, 3107. And that's mixture. That word blessed has got mixture too. And that's 85 times they contaminated that. So, but we're going to look at it in a different way. We're going to look at it in Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. Okay? Matthew chapter 5 verse 3. And we're going to have some fun with this because we used to these verses in the Christian community and quote them and we used to pray it out loud and speak them. But let's look at it starting from verse 3. It says, blessed are the poor in Ruha, they say spirit, because theirs is the reign of Shamayim. Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be confronted. Blessed are the meek, because they shall inherit the eretz, the earth. Now, I take those words back because those words are all blessed. Those are all the pagan deity. But this is the Greek word, mark it down, 3107. It is related to the word fortune or good luck or lucky, fortunate. But the clean word would be fortunate, but fortunate is actually related to fortune telling or fortune. But the clean words would be fortunate or well-being or well off. Okay? So even the ISR, they put this word 3107 Mac, excuse me, a-ios, Mac a-ios, with breaking up of syllables in the Greek, which is also in cleaner word understanding, definition, translation would be supremely extension, extremely extension. So this word in the Greek, because it has almost like krios in the end of it, like a deity, has a clean form of it, and then it has a connection with the krios, right? So karios, makarios. So what it does is it's got several different offshoot understanding here. This word also, you can find it when you look up blessed in the Strong's Hebrew Greek Concordance. You'll find some of the words is actually 2127, 2128, and 3107. They'll use it for the blessed with an ed on the end of blessed. They use those three different Greek words, expressions, pancaked with or plastered over with this pagan word blodosin, the blessed blood ritual. They don't use the word 2129 with it, but just those other two, 2127, 2128, and 3107 in the Greek. 85 times blessed is used, plastered over. And we're going to look at some also the what should I say, this is a trip. They also use this word for the pagan goddess Happy or happier, which I respect. ISR, they fixed that. They took out the pagan word, and we're going to look and explore that. But through the whole Baruching, listen, if we read it correctly in verse 3, it says, Baruch are the poor in Ruha, because theirs is the reign of Shamayim. Baruch are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. Baruch are the meek, and of course meek is anva, okay, because they shall inherit eretz. Baruch are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, because they shall be filled. Baruch are the compassionate, because they shall obtain compassion. Baruch are the clean in heart or lab, because they shall see Elohim. Baruch are the not peacemakers. Oh no way, man, no way. They have that word peacemaker in here. Okay, it's supposed to be shalom makers, people that create shalom, because they shall be called ben of Elohim. Baruch are those persecuted for righteousness' sake, because theirs is the reign of Shamayim. Baruch are you when they reproach and persecute you, falsely say every wicked word against you for my sake. And some translations say my name's sake, my Shem's sake, the character of his name. So isn't this wonderful when you correct the words and you say it and you read it and you put the Baruch or Berakah, or you put the correct words in there and say Barak or Baruch, Brachot, you who serve the Shem of Yahushua, our Mashiach, and Yahuwah, our Elohim. So let's look at the final word. Okay, this is this is still 3107, but how they used it for the pagan deity Happy and happier. Acts or chapter 20, Ma'ashi chapter 26, verse 2. I think myself, they got the word blessed, Macarios, sovereign Agrippa, because today I shall make my defense before you concerning all which I am accused of by the Yehudim. Now, the ISR took the word happy out and they put the word blessed. So they took the word happy because they have a knowledge of that. Praise Yahuwah. That blessed is a blood. Happy is a pagan deity. Still worship, big temples. All right, the goddess holy produces happy, the spirit of happy. Okay, in India. And so, but they put this word, they took out happy and they put the word blessed. They put the pagan blood ritual, the English word. When if they translated the Makarios, they would have been a clean word, okay, of well off or fortunate, okay, because he's saying, I think myself fortunate, Sovereign Agrippa, because today, in other words, you came before him, or I think myself well off or fortunate that I'm seeing you. So it would have been cleaner words to translate in English instead of transliterate it and plaster this Catholic word. But of course, people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and we don't want our people of Yahushua to be saying these words, the followers of Yah, these pagan ritual words, especially when you're praying. You know, some people say they BLSS Elohim or Yahuwah in their prayers, and you can see it in the scriptures when they change it in the first covenant, the Tanakh, the Torah and the Tanakh. You can see how they use BLSS, and they said I BLESS Yahuwah or Elohim, and that is wrong, man. They're saying they're doing a blood ritual, a blood act. No way, man. That's supposed to be Baruch or Brachot, or they're supposed to be a clean word of coming on their knees and saluting and praying and worship. Baruch is the word for more of I come to salute and fall on my knees and pray and worship. Okay, Brachot or the word Barakat or Baruch is more of prosperity upon you from Yahuwah, or to do you, saying it back to you also. Okay, excuse me. So they cleaned it up here, but that's the word happy. Happy is the pagan goddess. Happy is used 6 times in the Renewed Covenant. Also, they corrected it 6 times in the ISR. Now, happier is only once. Okay, in the King Imes or the Renewed Covenant of modern translations, and I don't know what the NIV does or the way scriptures, how they do it. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and we're going to look at verse 40. But she is better off if she remains as she is, according to my opinion, and I think I also have the Ruha of Elohim. All right, so he's talking about women that marry or are given in marriage, and the man, you know, not marrying or given in marriage. But the topic here is in verse 40. They corrected it. They put the word better off. Better off, those 2 words, or well off, is the correct translation of Makarios. It's a correct translation, and it's great they removed the word happier. It's only used once. Okay, which is an expression of more of the spirit of happy. It's a little more, they're possessed more with that spirit of Hali. They get the spirit of happy, the seducing spirit. And so you go online and look it up, Hali, and you go a little bit Holy, or in the pagan deity in India. And they just had a feast 2 months ago. It was all over Yahoo in the news and Yahoo website. Front page, they were advertising, flashing, get your tickets now, a month ahead, and during the feast, and they put the colors, and they worship. Over 60,000 people went to the temple of the goddess Ahode, and they get the spirit of her, which is happy, and they get happier, more possessed, and fall on the floor and do kundalini stuff. Okay, you can do your own research on that garbage. So those are pagan words. We're jubilant, we're rejoicing, jubilant, and in the scriptures it is simcha. Simcha is better than joy and happy, or jubilant, being very in jubilee with Yahuwah and his feast, and to have joy or happiness. Instead of using those pagan words, we use kara for Yahuwah, we have hara for Yahuwah, and for the feast is simcha, SIMKAW. So the ISR corrected it great here. They took off the pagan word 3107. But here, I just want to let you know something. These Greek words and Hebrew words are great words. They had great translations, but they transliterated it with these pagan words. I mean, those got to be Luminist Masons back in those days of King Imus, King James. You know, coming. It had to be stuff. But of course, some of them were French, German, Latin, and all of them were ex-Catholics from the Latin Vulgate and from the Latin language into Greek. And so they inherited lies from their forefathers, innocent or not innocent, or purposely or not purposely done. They had, most of them were ex-Catholics. Like Martin Luther was an ex-Catholic with a Latin German Vulgate Bible, but in German, when he escaped from the Catholic Church and made the protests with his, and pulled out a Catholic nun to marry her. And the same thing with all the rest of the ancient writers of those times. They were all ex-Catholic priests that learned how to read and write. That's how they could read and write. They had the education all controlled. Okay, so all these Greek words had great Greek translations. Why mess with it and put the pagan deities or the pagan spirits on them? I'm going to read now from Joshua chapter 23, verse 5. And Yahuwah your Elohim thrust them out from before you, and you shall drive them out from before you, and you shall possess their land as Yahuwah your Elohim has promised you. Verse 6. And you shall be very strong to guard and to do all that is written in the book of the Torah of Moshe, so as not to turn aside from it to right or left. We have inherited lies from the people of the land that we lived in, and the translations of their language, this paganistic German, English, Latin language we're speaking. We do not speak English. We speak the land of the deity of Ing. The real language was destroyed in 1050 by the starting from 900 by the Normans, Catholics, that literally could not Latinize the Fulon or runic language of ancient English from the Anglo-Saxons. So they made them change their language. Okay, the runic and the father, they call them Father Fulon, the author. They have writings. You could go on the alphabet. You could just actually go to alphabet on Wikipedia, or go to alphabet right online, and then you'll say ancient English Fulon or Father Fulon. You click those little blue attachments, links, and you go right to the original language. It is not, we speak German, French, Latin. We're from the Great Britain, United Kingdom. All right, Britland. And we don't even speak the real language of. They say it's a shame they call it English, because they're getting homage to the deity Ing, the deity of the land of Ing, and they made that whole land that name. They nickname the language, but we don't speak it. It ceased in 1050. Okay, we're speaking German, Latin, and other paganistic words watered down and modernized to today. And he says, and in verse 7, so as not to go in among these nations, these who remain among you, and make no mention of the Shem of their mighty ones, and swear by them, nor serve them, nor bow down to them, but cling, verse 8, to Yahuwah your Elohim, as you have done in this day. So he says to guard yourself, guard the Torah, Somebody didn't guard the Torah and the Tanakh by putting these paganistic Catholic, Latin, blood ritual, Germanic words inside the Torah and the Tanakh. Somebody didn't guard. I could see the Christians not guarding it, because they were inheriting lies from the Latin Catholic Vulgates and all that. But why would the rabbis today, they call themselves great ones, do this? They know better. Or do they know better? Are they inheriting lies from their forefathers from the Talmud oral, and they have these English Ashkenazi book writings using these pagan words, blessed, peace, and holy, and all these pagan words, and they shouldn't even use these pagan words, because they're actually not guarding Torah, and they actually using it. Like I say, it says here, not to take his name, to guard his name, written in Torah, and not to mention the name of their mighty one. Well, even if you say B-L-E-S-S Yahuwah, or B-L-E-S-S Elohim, you are adding the blood pagan ritual of a ritual that was created for the deity Good. That's right, G-O-D-D, or Gott in German, G-O-T-T, or G-O-U-D, all these pagan words for the deity of Ing from Great Britain or the United Kingdom. For that particular deity they worship, connected to Odin. And they're all connected together. Scotland, Ireland, all these different lands of sons, offshoots. So we're not to even mention it. Have some blushing conscience. Cleanse your mouth. Just carry a little card. Like I carry a little card. Carry a little card to memorize them and to remind yourself and memorize the scriptures and teach others to memorize it during Shabbat. Get all the correct Hebrew words clean. You're in the Greek. Look at the Greek clean words. And they got great translation. They didn't transliterate it. It was clean in there, especially in the Hellenic. But as we learn the Hebraic roots, learn if you go into a Messianic congregation or you go somewhere with people and you start talking Baruch and Barak and Brachot, they understand you. You don't have to use that BLESS word at all, that pagan blood ritual. You don't have to. Now, the next verse I'm going to close with is 2 Corinthians, or Corinthian Bet, chapter 4, verse 2. I'm going to start with 1 to 2, and we're going to read 1 through 7. And we're going to close with this, because it's already time. I love you, people. I love you that are paying attention and listening, have blushing conscience, and are wooed by the Ruach HaKadosh to be convicted of the filthy works that we learn in this paganistic language. Remember, our forefathers that migrated here on boats, steamers, sailboats. My ancestors came on boats from Spain and also from Great Britain. All right, in the 13 colonies, the Childs family, Childa. And they inherited lives. What school did they have back then? They would take the King Amos Bible and they learned how to read it on Sunday school. Or they learned how to read it out of the Bible because most people had Bibles. And they learned how to read out of the Bible. That's sad. But they learned the King Amos language, the land of Great Britain, the language of the Ings. And that's what we learned. We inherited. But we got DNA, multiple layers of this garbage, and we have to be DNA cleansed and washed through the atoning blood of our Hebrew Messiah, Yahuwah, Yahushua, Moshiach, and be cleansed by his atoning blood. He's given us favor to do this, and we can do this. Now, this verse I'm about to read will help you understand this. We have to renounce these things. I ask for brain wipe clean, that my mind will be brain wipe clean from the generations of my DNA of my forefathers. Because see, we inherited this from our forefathers. Imagine our great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers learned how to read out of a King Amos Bible, man. A Biblos. You know? Biblos means the Bella rules. You could go online and look up the city of Biblos in Lebanon. It still exists. They do tourism there. And they have a statue, Bella rules, the goddess Bella. Okay? So anyways, getting back to let's read this verse and close with it. Therefore, having this service, even as we receive compassion, we do not lose heart, but have renounced, disown. It's the Greek word ponani. Disown it. Renounce those things. The secret ways of shame. We didn't know we were saying shameful things. Not walking in craftiness, nor falsifying the word of Elohim. These pastors, evangelists, call themselves apostolicos, Roman apostolic Catholic connections. You know, some of you know the Greek, and you need to renounce it. You're practicing the art of infallibility, following the Catholic Church. Nor falsifying the word of Elohim, but by the manifestation of truth. We're being manifested. There's a manifestation, a revelation of truth going on right now with the word. Two computers jumping off, all these references. We're having emunah, we're digging in, we're researching, we're looking for the pearls of great price. Recommend ourselves to every human's conscience in the sight of Elohim. You hear that? Every person's, their consciousness, giving them the correct language. Of course, if we're ignorant and we don't know better, we don't know better. We goo gaga all the way. But once we know the right name, we got to speak it. Because we can't Google gaga no more. I mean, if I say Google gaga to my dad, when we were grown men, he'll look at me like, what's up with you, boy? Did you bump your head? Say my name. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, it's childish to continue using these childish words, these titles and also pagan words. Ourselves to every human conscience in the sight of Elohim, and indeed, if our Bezorah has been veiled, it has been veiled in those who are perishing. The ones that receive it and don't bear fruit in a year or two, and they continue going full force in the Christian community or the links to Catholicism, which that's what it is, the charismatic movement. They're veiled, man. They're on their way. In whom the mighty one of this age. Now, in the King Imus, they use the word good. The German, the Anglo-Saxon German deity right here. They put in whom the God of this age. Who's the mighty one of this age? The German deity on the dollar bill. The fortune prosperity deity has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that the enlightening of the Bezorah of the esteem of Moshiach, who is the likeness of Elohim, does not shine in them. For we do not proclaim ourselves, but Moshiach, Yahushua, Yahuwah, and ourselves, your servants, for the sake of Yahushua. For Elohim, who said, let light shine out of darkness. We're putting light in there to get you out of that dark tunnel, so you can break the curses off your tongue and renew your mind and bring white clean with a ruah, with the liquid oil of the ruah. Is the one who has shown in our lab, our hearts, in the enlightening of the knowledge of the esteem of Elohim in the face of Yahushua Moshiach. And we have this earthly treasure in vessel, so that the excellency of the power might be of Elohim and not of us. In verse 2, but have renounced apiponani, disowned. It's a clean Greek word, and renounce, disown that stuff. Just get it off us. Wash us through the atoning blood, even though that's why when we do mikvah, tevilah, rakats, we go in the water, but before we do, we renounce the deity names and words we use. But now we're going to wash our mind. And I love you, all the mishpocha, all the goyim, all the garim coming in. And the ones that are getting grounded and rooted in the house of Yisrael. If you still use these words, pray with me now. Say this prayer with me. Yahuwah, my Elohim, forgive me. I was ignorant. I committed the sin according to Leviticus of the Torah of ignorance, because I've inherited lies from our forefathers and religious spirits of Christianity and Catholicism roots. Forgive me for using these words of blood rituals of so many people that have died, so many babies, like the babies of abortion today. Babies were sacrificed and their blood was mixed with ashes and put the krus on their head of a blood ritual, or they do the sign of the cross. Forgive us, for many have died, and I believe now, not in vain. For I renounce and disown those words out of my mouth. And I ask of my mouth to be taken clean by the coals of the altar of the Hekel of Shamayim, that my tongue will be cleansed and my mind will be cleansed with the coals of the altar and purified with the Ruach fire, that my mind will be renewed before the words come out of my mouth, and I'll be quickened to stop and say the correct words as I memorize them in the Shem of Yahushua. Thank you for forgiving me. And now I renounce the deities, links of good, Those deities, I renounce them. Say it with me. I renounce those money fortunate deities and the blood and bloodosing rituals of blessings and blessed. I renounce those words from this day forward not to say them. I say this prayer with you as an example because I don't use those words any other time for you to take heed and understand them. So today you're washed clean and renounce it. Go on Eliyahu'sChannel or HaRuachEliyahu and Eagles Haven 1 on YouTube. And go ahead and look at some of the words and some of the history. The first time watching us, you're welcome. Mishporka of the House of Yisrael, welcome. Welcome. With a pure tongue, pure mind, and cleansing of the Torah, the Tanakh, the Kadasha. And thank you for tuning in. We love you. My wife and I say we love you and have a great Shabbat. A wonderful Shabbat. Enjoy your children. Sit, love them, hear them, play with them, draw the name and Shem of Yahuwah and Paleo Hebrew, modern Hebrew. Just enjoy your time with your family and children. Have a great Shabbat and a great feast as we celebrate His feast of Shabbat of rest. Amen and Amen.